Okay. Oh, this should be on YouTube now. That's crazy. All right. Let's let's do. You guys want to start some intro music? Get like Kevin Samuels shit going on here? Let's see. What do I want to play? I could play a new beat. Actually, let me play an old one. Let's do that. Welcome to Table Moments Live. I'm your host and captain, Ayman. Those of you aren't familiar with me doing lives here, I'm normally on TikTok. Let me know if you guys can hear me well, if you can. If anyone's going to be watching this, it's going to be crazy because it was sort of a last minute thing. Bilal is sick today, so it's just going to be me solo. And yo, this is looking pretty good, not going to lie. I look, yo, I actually look like a fucking YouTuber. That's crazy. All right, we're not going to do any current events or anything. I'm just navigating and learning how to do YouTube, but I think this is going to be something I'm going to start doing on a weekly basis on YouTube and on TikTok. So I'll do it twice a week lives. And we can actually adjust some cool things here while we wait for people to come in. Portrait, yeah, we'll keep it portrait. Studio light, let's do that. I like that. That's pretty cool and pretty nice. Okay, I like that. That's pretty cool. There's no delay in the mic too. See, this is why Kevin Samuels would always like play the music, because that just gives him time to set up everything. So like I can change scenes too. So I could go like this is what I got so far right now. That's pretty cool. And I can monitor myself. This is what I got so far right now. Yo, this is wild. All right, let's do. I got a few topics prepared. If you look at the cover for this YouTube stream, it's I was messing around with Playground AI. It's a online AI image generation tool, which is pretty cool. I took a portrait of myself and I just went through a bunch of different variations that they had. So as you can probably see on the cover of this thing, that was, I believe let me see, let me pull it up real quick. It's on selfies. I will plan this better next time, but it was Woolite, I think. They're Woolite generator, but I have a bunch of other ones. I don't know how to show those yet. I haven't quite figured out. I don't know if I want to be showing my desktop right now, but AI is pretty cool. Seeing all the images that you can make and all the things you could generate. You can check it out. I'll actually put it in the chat for you guys, which is cool because, you know, on TikTok, doing the lives there I can't really share links and stuff like that. But here I can. So let's see, I'll put it in the link. Nice. And you guys will be able to play around with that. But it's pretty cool. Interesting thing about Playground AI is that it started by the guy who was running Mighty. Mighty was supposed to be this online computer sort of thing, like an online browser. Think of it this way. Like browsers can be pretty slow, and a lot of apps these days are turning into web apps. They're going to be things that you just go through in your browser and you use it. So Figma is a good example. It's like web design software, but imagine like Adobe Photoshop being just through your browser, or Premiere or Final Cut Pro through your browser. Well, that's the trend that's happening as things move closer and closer to web, because they're turning into SaaS products. That's the thing. Turn everything into a monthly recurring revenue thing. And that's cool for the companies, but the problem is on your local machine, your browser isn't really made to run that, especially if you don't have like a high performance machine like a MacBook, or maybe one of those high performance Razers or Lenovo workstation machines. So what they ended up doing was, hey, we will give you a browser in the cloud. You can log in. We made this app specifically to work with your PC, and it'll give you access to this high speed browser with the high speed internet attached to it. And so you would be able to run apps like that seamlessly, and it will feel like it's native to your computer because they optimize so many different things, and then they decided to pivot, and they pivoted into AI, which is pretty cool. And they started putting all these they put this interface together. You can actually put together images, and literally you just simply type some stuff into a box, like a description. So for this, the cover I made for this, I just put Ayman, and then my source material was a portrait, selfie of myself, and then I posted that, and I could choose all the different options, and I could do. It's on my company account, TEF, if you guys want to see a video of all the different variations I went through. But it's pretty cool. You know, and people are talking about, oh, AI is going to replace us. AI is going to replace us, which might seem believable, especially considering a lot of the things that it's doing right now. However, here's the counterpoint. AI won't replace us because we won't let it. The idea that AI is smarter than us is a fallacy, because if it were smarter than us, it would tell the truth. The regular existence for human beings, when we interact with each other, is constantly lying. You know what I'm talking about. The white lies we tell each other, oh yeah, totally. Or we pretend to like each other because we all have to work together. No one's being honest. And even when it's things like that should be factual, if it's emotional, if it's an emotional topic, people still struggle. People still struggle to be honest. And so an honest AI would be an intelligent AI. But people aren't ready to hear honesty. People are not ready to hear the fucking truth. That will break minds. And so people will never let it actually happen. This idea that human beings are smart might be a fallacy, that we are actually intelligent. Maybe the idea of human intelligence might just be a contradiction. Because we think of ourselves as rational creatures. Presented with facts, we would make rational decisions. That's not actually how it works. The psychology actually proves that we make emotional decisions and rationalize it to ourselves later. That's actually what happens. So when you've decided you're going to buy a new car, you're not thinking, well, I need this car because my last car has all these different problems. And then if you calculate the cost of all those things and you factor that in, and then also like the repair costs and blah, blah, blah. That's all the rationalization you made after you've decided you already want the new car. That's what's actually happening. And so this is just our natural state of being. Even people like me, as rational as I like to come off, like I also understand I'm subject to this way of thinking. And we all believe we're these rational and it's like, oh, justified and stuff. No, we're all just emotional creatures. And so an AI that replicates us, human beings, is going to be just as irrational as us. That's what we would expect it to be. So the idea that it's just going to be better than us is kind of a joke. And so it's not actually a threat at all, as much as it might seem. One thing Bilal did mention on last week's episode was that he uses ChatGPT, that's the chatbot by OpenAI, to write emails for him, which, I mean, I guess it's a cool assistant tool, but it got me thinking about, like, even with this AI playground stuff, how people are using it to create art. The thing is, it's all trained on publicly available information. Now, was that publicly available information obtained with rights? Probably not. That's probably not true. Like, there's a reason why we have like copyright law and stuff. The idea that they can use massive amounts of training data that's available publicly, but weren't actually given permission to help create this this AI to create art or even written work without violating copyright is sort of like new territory. We're not really sure how this is going to play out. And then you have to also consider, like, okay, this training data is what's the creativity of human beings is collected, then given to this machine to understand the patterns, and so that other people who aren't creative now can use the machine to make stuff. What we've done effectively is democratize the creativity that's out there. Turns out Jordan Peterson actually has a really good talk on this about creative people and how it's this double-edged sword. We all like to think creativity is in everybody. Anybody could be creative. That's not necessarily true. That's actually far from true. In reality, it's only a handful of people out there who are actually creative, who have this compulsion, this need to create stuff in the world that doesn't exist, that's novel, that also happens to be useful or possibly useful. That's another thing. It's like being creative sucks a lot of the time because if what you're doing is actually creative, actually novel, people won't get it. People won't get it. Only a small fraction of people will ever get it if they ever do. And so most creatives end up failing at whatever creative endeavor they're doing in terms of actually converting it into economic success. It's very rare. You can point out a lot of the artists like Banksy, you can all these musicians and like they are exceptions. They are literal exceptions. Most don't ever make it or turn it into anything economically viable. And that's the struggle of a creator. But they have this compulsion to do it anyways. And so they must. And so they create for themselves and for just needing to do it. And so like all this stuff gets put out there. And the internet has allowed us to share this, to find that audience that might resonate with the things that we're putting out there. And so they're doing this, and then this AI, these companies, these AI companies take all this data, put it together in their machine so that it can find patterns and help manipulate pixels and words and data for users of the AI. So the people who actually made the creative work that the model is trained on, that these computers are trained on, will never ever get any profit or monetary compensation for the work that they've done to help train this thing. But the companies who took all this information will be able to offer this as a service to people and make money off of it. Isn't that crazy? This is common. This is such a common thing where creators always get screwed. Jordan Peterson also talks about this instance where it's the creatives who can find areas that look dilapidated, that look like they need a lot of work, but can see potential. And so this is like the whole idea of gentrification and stuff. You know, people talk about, oh, all these like hipsters come into our space and they start bringing the soy, they bring the tea shops, the Starbucks and the soy lattes and all that stuff and start complaining about it like it's a problem. It's like they've turned this place that was once, that had no economic viability and then brought art galleries and all these hipster spots to turn it into a place that people actually want to spend their time. Now, the natural consequences of that is it becomes a nicer place. And because it becomes a nicer place, then the business people come in and start buying the rest of the place and start converting it into living spaces. And so the more conventional people can start accepting it. And then obviously, you know, the black people get kicked out, which sucks. But it's not the hipsters that the hipsters create the beginnings of this, but they're not the ones doing the kicking out. They're not. They're not the ones who want the place to be expensive to live. They're not. The people who come in, who start the art galleries, are not the ones who want to kick out people. It's all the other people who follow them and then end up kicking the artists out because the artists aren't making any money from their creative work. You see the problem here? So I was thinking about this, like, can this problem be solved? Can we solve this problem? Can we give creatives the value, recognition for the value that they create in society? Here's a crazy thing. I studied engineering. I never thought of myself as a creative guy. I didn't produce any creative work before. Literally, I was that all like science or bust kind of dude. Like everything's got to be rational and all this artistic music, all that stuff is crap. But as I've aged, I've realized, no, it's the art, it's the creativity that shapes our culture, that shapes our future, because it's the thing that stimulates ideas in people. Like one of the reasons why a lot of engineers, at least back in a few decades ago, decided to become engineers was because of movies, Star Wars, Star Trek, all the star shows. And it inspired people to create that future. Now, we don't have teleporters yet, we don't have hyperdrives, but we do have these computers in our pockets, right? You know, those like communicators, except they just look like rectangles now. Like we, those things predicted the future that we were going to live in today. At least a lot of elements of it, which is crazy. And so you had these shows that inspired a whole generation of people to create. The whole space program thing wouldn't have happened and all that. So it's like art and creativity is the reason why that can inspire the future. Like, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And it's something that should be appreciated. And I think it's easy for us to just look the other way and just not consider it. And I was in that position too. I know, like, at least that's how I felt at the time. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten a much deeper appreciation for it. It's pretty cool. And it would be nice if it can help solve the problem of getting people a way to earn money through their creative process. Now, I have a few ideas about this. I do. Since I've been doing this whole content creation stuff, I've learned some of the challenges that come with like trying to grow an audience, and it's such a pain in the ass because there's so many things you got to learn. And it's one of those things where it's not enough to just be 98, 99% of the things learning those things. Like there's all these different things you have to learn. And you learn as you do, and you get better at all these different things that you need to do as you do more of it. So for content creation, it's a 4-step, 4 pillars basically. You need planning, recording, editing, and then distribution. And the hardest part is the editing, because that's the thing that makes content worth watching, because you take all the waste and the garbage out that doesn't need to be there. But you have to record that part, and that's the recording process. It turns out like 70, 80% of the stuff you record, you're not going to even use, but you still got to record it to get the gems that are in there. And then the planning is hard. I haven't quite figured out the planning. Obviously, I just do these things on whim. Even the videos that I post, I literally just pull out my iPhone, start recording, and then I record 3 minutes of some thought, and then I cut it up into about 40 seconds. Which I'm trying to get better at. And then distribution, which I've built something specifically for that to help me share content. But these are the challenges someone has to learn, someone has to go through to understand, to even start this whole content creation process. And then if you're starting from zero, you have no shadows, nothing, which is basically how I started with this whole Table Moments thing. It's gonna be a grind. It's gonna be a grind because these algorithms aren't as simple as just like, if your content's good, it's gonna be shared. No. It could be the greatest Mr. Beast content ever, like for YouTube. I could make a video that parallels Mr. Beast. Not that I could. Like hypothetically, I could, if I did. It won't get views. It won't get views. Like a lot of this comes to chance. A lot of this comes to just, I don't know. I try not to impose thoughts about what an algorithm is doing. You notice how people talk about algorithms that way? It's like, the algorithm needs you to do this. The algorithm needs you to do that. Like it's a fucking person. No, it's not. It's just a matching algorithm. That's it. And I'm not exactly sure how a lot of these work. Like for Instagram, I would tell you, I think they kind of neuter it on purpose to compel people to pay for promotion. That makes sense. I mean, how else is Facebook going to make money? Weirdly enough, like apparently there are people active on Facebook. I didn't know that. I've been cross-posting. Anytime I post something on Instagram, it automatically posts it to Facebook as a reel too. And it turns out that I had this DoorDash video. You might have seen it on this page. It blew up on Facebook. Yeah, 3 million views. I didn't even know about it until like weeks later. And I look at it, you got 2,000 followers on the page. For a Facebook page. There are people on Facebook. That blows my mind. Why? Why are you on Facebook? I don't know. But that's that's Facebook. I still don't understand that. YouTube, obviously still new here. Why I'm doing the live streams and trying to build this up. I have some ideas for some videos, so if you watch this channel, you're gonna there's some videos to look forward to. All of them are gonna be pushing the edge. They're not gonna be crazy like GDon or Danny Duncan or anything like that, but they're gonna be risque for sure. And I think I can appeal to, like, imagine a mix between GDon, Danny Duncan, Rich Rebuilds, Fireship maybe? No, not Fireship. Because I don't think I would talk about the how-tos here. Maybe Sam Crack. I don't know. I don't imagine myself doing a lot in the, like, physical design space. I don't know. And I forget his name, but he's the co-founder for Ping.gg. That guy. A mix of those, and then maybe some social commentary too. Sneeko a bit, maybe a bit of Sneeko in there too. It's like going to be a weird mix, appealing to an older audience. So like all the people who are teenagers and in their early teens or late teens, mid 20s or early 20s, those people are going to get older. They're going to move beyond GDon, Danny Duncan, the minorities and all that. They'll come to me. Those are my people. That's what I'm going to be going for. So I'll be working on that on YouTube. But for YouTube, again, like YouTube's the harder game in terms of social media because you got to get the videos cinematic and crispy as fuck because people here, especially a lot of the successful YouTubers, they either have someone who has experience in video editing or recording or even just in that space of cinematography, or they were people who had that experience. So that's sort of one of those professions that sets you up to be a YouTuber. Which is interesting. Like there are certain professions that sort of prepare you for these new careers that are being developed because of the internet. I can't think of another one, but there was something I thought about the other day. And so YouTube's that thing. TikTok, I think I've been a little wild there, not gonna lie. I do push the edges of acceptability on that platform, which I think is fine. I'm gonna do it no matter what. But back to the creativity thing, like how do we help people monetize what they're doing? Especially considering they have to put a lot of effort. I now appreciate all the YouTubers out here who are making videos all the time. Shit's hard work. Like, and then coming up with ideas and then making them compelling enough that people actually want to watch it, or finding your niche and then getting the editing and pacing right, then figuring out the thumbnail so that people actually want to watch and click your thing. Like, it's a whole thing, man. It's a whole thing. And I don't think as viewers you appreciate the amount of effort it takes. Like, I've been doing this podcast for a little over 2 years now. I would say podcasting's harder because you can't scrub through a podcast. You have to literally listen to every second of it in order to edit it, which then kind of makes the editing a bit of a grind. But I'm just getting practice and we're doing it. And so I have some ideas for videos. Okay, the one I'm working on right now is the Tate album. I don't know if it'll get banned on YouTube. I know it would get banned on TikTok automatically, but because TikTok sort of has PTSD when it comes to the guy. They treat him like he who shall not be named, Voldemort. Like any mention of the guy automatically gets banned. It's crazy. So I haven't even bothered. But I did have one post where I was basically explaining like Andrew Tate's like a rapper. So it'd be cool if we could take his lines, put it on some dope lyrics, and then publish the songs and see if we can get them to blow up. And so I'm actually working on that video right now. And I think I'm gonna have to spit some bars on one of them. And I wrote some lyrics. And I've noticed, like with my rapping style, not that I have a rapping style, this is literally be the first rap song I've ever spit, I guess. Like I just noticed my style is like, I'm very verbose. I put a lot of words in there. And I go way too hard than maybe I should. Like I'm calling people out, I'm calling names, I'm calling people bitches, like, bro, it's crazy. But I think it fits the brand, so I feel like I have to do it. I don't know, you'll see it when I publish it, but right now I'm just waiting on the rapper to finish his song and then I gotta finish mine. And then also, interesting though, what I ended up doing with one of the beats that the producer, so there was a producer who offered some beats that he had for this project and he gave us six. One for Brizo, he's going to be rapping on one of the beats. And then for one of them, I actually, interestingly enough, took and put some an Andrew Tate rant over it. And the interesting thing is like, it actually works. It actually works. The rant on the music could be really motivational. Like if you listen to this shit in the gym, you'd be like, it'll get you hyped before a set for sure. For sure. And so this could be a whole new genre of music. You know, you take podcast clips, which is also an interesting way to promote podcasts and instrumentals. So you take instrumentals, then you find snippets that are hopefully, maybe rants make sense for this type of stuff, but it could be just regular podcast clips of people discussing something deep or important or profound, and you put it onto some instrumentals, and then it becomes a song in itself. And that song, if it's good and catchy and is motivating and makes someone feel, then it's also promotion for your podcast. You think? Bro, I just came up with that. Maybe that'd be an interesting way to promote a podcast. You use music to sell a podcast. I don't know if anyone's tried it before, but I'm willing to try it. I also thought, like, for instrumentals, like, I make instrumentals. Actually, I might be able to, I don't know if I should play one here, but I make instrumentals just for the music that I put in a lot of the videos that I publish for the promo videos for the podcast. And I enjoy making them, and I enjoy listening to them. I actually do listen to them when I'm in the gym, my own instrumentals and stuff. And I was thinking, like, you know how they do, like, Genius interviews? You know, like Genius.com, where they get the artist to sit down in a chair and explain the lyrics of their song. I was wondering if that's a thing we could do for music too. Just instrumentals, because the way, at least the way mine sound, there's a lot of, like, there's a wave that happens. It's like energy levels that you go through, and there's a lot of variety in the instruments that I use and the loops that I end up incorporating. I think of it more as like composition, which is what I actually am doing, just taking all these sounds and putting them together into this cohesive unit that makes a song. And because I do that, there's like all these peaks and troughs in the energy level, in the pacing of the song, and the instruments I use that give different moods. And so wouldn't it be interesting if you could promote instrumentals too? Like that way, where you do an artist interview. And I was thinking this would be a hilarious video. I don't know if I would put it on this channel or if I would have to make a separate channel for just the music alone. But I would just basically be like this, except it would just be like a yellow background. Or maybe I'll do a green background, because that would be interesting. And then green screen that. And then just go through the song and like, all right, here's where I added the flutes. It's a half step earlier than you expected. And I also raised them up an octave higher, so they hit a little different. And then I duplicated that an octave lower in the next bar so that you can get that deeper feeling. And then I added a riser here, and then put a trough here where it's just like mellow, but it's ramping up, and then finally put a drop here at the end and talk about the pattern of the music. And then I start like feeling the energy and explaining it while listening to it, and then also showing, maybe even showing like the bars, the actual graphs or the loops. But I don't know. That'd be an interesting video. And you know, it's just the artist interview of just promoting instrumentals, which don't get enough recognition, I would say. Like there's this guy called Fred again, I think, who's gotten pretty popular lately. But a lot of his stuff, he uses a lot of vocals in his instrumentals, but sort of like, what if people could become like popular that way? Why does it always have to be like, all right, you got to find a rapper to come on your beat and then people know you as the beat producer? It's like, what if you make songs that are just instrumentals and you could just be maybe somewhat popular because people like the music and they get to know you? Because it's all about telling a story. Telling a story. People want to hear stories. It's not, if you just publish a bunch of stuff, people are like, all right, can't really connect with this. But if you're like, ooh, I know that guy. oh, he, like, I also thought it would be interesting. Yeah, you do the artist interview for this instrumental, then take some stock footage. So you go to ArtGrid. It's a service that offers a lot of footage. And basically, like a lot of my instrumentals, I feel like I can imagine them in a scenario. Like I have this one song called Against Time where I include some ambulance sounds in the beginning and then like the respirator sounds at the end of the song. But really it's the journey of EMS getting someone to the hospital. And it feels like that. I also put some heartbeats in there, you know, kind of things in there. And it actually works really well. Obviously, I got to mix it better because that was one of my earlier songs, but I think it would be interesting if I took a bunch of stock footage of ambulance, EMS people, emergency medical services, and start like composing the story, and you hear the story and see the story happen. And it would all just be instrumentals purely. And I think that would be pretty cool. So I could make a video for the artist interview and the B-roll, and then, or the music video, basically. It would be a music video if I used all this like art grid stuff. And then lastly, a third video would be a dancing video. Just going ham, just hyping, just like, Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I don't know who I'd get to dance, because I do have this one song called Catch Me, where it's like a sort of Caribbean, African style beat. And I was like, yo, that'd be cool if I could turn it into like a TikTok viral clip that basically girls are dancing to. That'd be hilarious. And it's just called the Catch Me Challenge. And they would just like, and then I would give props as like, the less skin you show, the better. Because it's like, you know, you see this shit on TikTok, like, all right, I don't see dancing on my feed. A lot of you guys probably do. But like, what if we can encourage people to just show the moves off instead of just like revealing so much skin? I mean, like, if you want to see skin, go watch porn. Like, I don't need to see that shit on TikTok. Like, I made a new account when I was making a new account for the business account that I have. Um, I when you first make an account, all they'll show you is just dancing people, especially women. For some reason, just thirst traps the whole time. I'm just like, what the hell? I don't want to see this shit. And so you have to keep swiping through it. Now it's gotten my taste. My taste is like business advice and content creator advice, which is basically me. And it matches the business account too, because that's the kind of stuff I put in there, like motivation and stuff like that. But TikTok's weird, man. TikTok is so weird. So yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool. But I've been more active on TikTok lately. I've been trying to go ham. I think I'm like low key shadow banned. I'm gonna, you know what? Maybe my mission should be getting shadow banned on YouTube. Like, cause fuck it, why not? Like, I feel like I'm stubborn that way. Like, unless I can speak my mind, um, uninhibitedly, uninhibited, if I can speak my mind, I need to speak my mind, basically. I don't know. I can't shut up. I can't tell me I can't say something and I gotta say it. Just because. Like, I don't even have to believe it, which I know it's gonna get me in trouble one of these days. Someone's gonna bait me into something and I'm gonna say it just because I want to prove everybody that I can say whatever the fuck I want and then get me canceled, which I've been trying to get canceled, by the way. If you're new here, know that my mission is to get canceled. Okay? Like, I've been trying to get canceled for 2 years. I haven't done it yet, but I think you need to be big enough to be able to get canceled. And right now, I'm not there yet. But eventually, yeah, that'll happen. Like, you're going to see me all over YouTube soon enough. Soon, I'm going to do the podcast tour. You guys notice that shit? Like, one person who gets into some drama, or maybe they get into a friend group with a lot of other YouTubers, and then they start doing the circuit. The circuit. Every community has their own circuit, right? Like all the social justice people, they have their own circuit. The one I'm more familiar with is like the whole RP circuit. So you got the fresh and fit guys. You have like modern life dating. You have like the rhinestones and or dude Rule Zero. Rule Zero, I think, is the big guys, and they just go on each other's shows. You know, so it's just like they do the circuits, or like for the politics stuff. If something one person, like let's say someone in Project Veritas breaks a story or something, then they start going into all the like conservative outlets or whatever on YouTube, and they do their interviews about all the shit that happened. It's just like, all right, they're just clout farming, guys. They're clout farming, which I mean, maybe it's smart, but I'm wondering if it's even possible to grow an audience without that. What if I can actually grow this shit without actually having to be on somebody else's podcast? Now, I don't know if it's possible, you know? Like this idea of being able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps is a nice idea. And to some extent might be true, considering like, why are you going to wait for other people to help you? Just help yourself. Okay. But then also, if you think about the saying, it doesn't really make sense. How are you going to pull yourself up from your bootstraps if you're wearing your boots? Newton's third law, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So when you do pull, you're not going anywhere. Crazy. I'm not sure what that means. I'm going to look it up after this. But but maybe, I think I did watch a TikTok, someone explaining like they were working with a lot of successful people in some context, and they did this enough times with enough people that they started gleaning a pattern that all these people that they were interacting with, that they were interviewing, who were successful in their field, were all describing all the challenges that they overcame, all the hard work that they had to do, all the sacrifices they had to make, but they all had some person, some element in their life that was fortunate, that they were fortunate of having, that guided them in the right way or gave them the kickstart that they needed, or the spark and activation energy for them to continue success. And what he was explaining was that people would underplay that, even though they all had that sort of element, which would suck. It would suck if that's actually true. If what is required to be successful is someone recognizing you, and someone who is already established and successful recognizing you and giving you a hand up. If that's what it takes. Because you know what? I'm thinking maybe it's a mix. It's a mix of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and someone helping you out. Someone giving you a bone so that you can actually get the recognition you deserve. So the bootstrap part is where you build up the talent and expertise in whatever space that you're working in. And you keep doing that, and you keep doing that. And it turns out, if you don't have any clout, if you don't have any attention, no eyeballs on you, it doesn't matter how good your shit is. It doesn't matter. Like, because if no one knows about it, you'll never get the credit for your work. No one will recognize your work. And in fact, you have the social proof problem. If you have no following, no one wants to follow you because they don't see the social proof, the follower count that says that you actually make good shit. That's the dilemma that a lot of people are in. Like, because after you start off, you suck. Like, your shit's probably not worth sharing. And the algorithms, whatever, are not going to be pushing it. You're a new account, and new accounts don't get treated favorably. It's just how it is. Because, like, why would you? Now, TikTok does things different where they give you a view spike at the beginning, but that's sort of just to keep you on their platform. So it's sort of a competitive play. But essentially, you're going to suck. You're going to suck at the beginning. And you're going to be posting a lot of stuff, and you're not going to even know that you suck because you don't know what you don't know. And so, you got to keep doing it and iterating again and again and again, and you start getting better and better and better and better. And then you start getting the sort of view of a content creator. You start being able to see the way viewers see, and you start recognizing and being able to compare your shit to other people's shit. Other people who already are successful, who do have audiences, and you get to see yours and where your shortcomings are. And so you start improving your stuff because you can recognize the differences. You've become a student of the craft. And so you improve, and then you get to a point where your shit is just as good as the stuff that you're comparing to. And you still won't get any attention because you don't have the clout. That's the dilemma. And so in that situation, and no one's going to give you the clout. Other people will not recognize your talent, the content that you're putting out, because they don't see the proof of others enjoying your stuff. Because you don't have the follower account, which is why I totally understand why people would buy followers on Instagram. It totally makes sense because social proof matters to most people. So Like now I could say I have 41,000 followers on TikTok. I can say that. That makes me seem more legit, even though it shouldn't. But it does. And so, all because I got lucky on one video, you know? And so, if that's the dilemma we're in, I think my purpose here with Table Moments is to be that leg up, that guy who has his hand out ready to pull people up with me. Because I like the idea that this Table Moment stuff is general. We're not about anything specific. We don't have any set topics. Literally, this is just me speaking off the top of my head. Yeah, I wrote some stuff down, but I haven't looked at it in like the last 40 minutes. I haven't looked at it. And so I can talk about anything and everything. And the podcast is the same way. The audio version of the podcast, which you can listen to. It's on every platform. Apple, Spotify, doesn't matter. And it gives us the freedom to be able to talk about anything and bring anyone on, which is why one week we could talk about all the drama on social media. We can talk about maybe the rap industry and making music. We could talk about fashion brands. We can talk about conspiracy theories. This is a general podcast about anything and everything, but no politics. And you might be wondering, why no politics? Well, honestly, it started as a rule against me because I'm a political person. Don't ask me what my politics is. You should be able to tell just based on my demeanor and the way I carry myself and the things I've said. But most people aren't political. And I have to constantly, and I say no politics as a reminder to not bring up political things. Now, if there's social topics, yeah, we'll talk about it. But if there's, like, I'm not going to bring up congressmen or anything like that. I might joke about Hunter Biden every now and then because that's just hilarious. He is my spirit animal. But aside from that, I'm not going to bring it up. I'm just, because I know most people are not political. And that's okay. Most people think, even people who think they're political, who vote every election, even midterms and all that, they're not really political. Because if they were, they would know, they would get deep in the dirt and understand that this is beyond just parties. There's like, you know House of Cards? You seen the show on Netflix? Real life is crazier. Way crazier. Except there's no killing in real life, at least as far as I know. That'd be weird. But no, you know what? There is some killing in real life too. You just, whoa. Actually, I don't even want to have those thoughts right now. I'm in a good mood. Yo. So yeah, that's why we do no politics here. And it's pretty cool. And so I could be that person who has the handout, ready to pull people up. So that's why I feel like what we're doing here. You follow the account, you like and heart, you leave comments, you do those things. What we're doing here is building a platform for others after me. For anyone, even if you're watching this too, you got something going on in your life and you want to share it, like let's say you're working on some small business or you're trying something new, maybe you want to get into this content creation game like I am, then yeah, you come on the show, talk about what you got going on. And this could be a platform to help you accelerate your growth and success. That'd be really cool. That'd be really cool. I didn't plan much more for this live stream. This is just experimentation. I'm more used to TikTok because I could actually interact with people. Here, obviously, no one's currently joining the live, but it would be nice to eventually grow the YouTube account to enough people that I can actually have live streams and interact with people directly. I think I'm best on this live performance when I have people asking me questions and then I could just go off in all these different directions and tie all the topics together, which I've been able to do successfully on TikTok lately, which is crazy. But yeah, gonna start doing this on YouTube too. Probably weekly. Probably won't be Thursdays. I'm thinking maybe Wednesdays. Might make more sense. I don't want to cross stream with other YouTubers, but I might do Wednesdays lives. YouTube Wednesdays. That might be it. And I appreciate you if you end up watching the replay. I will be posting it. And I think I'll also rip the audio from here, and that will be this week's episode of the podcast. I think that'd be interesting. And as a way to promote too. That'd be cool. See, I think the value is like, I can take all these pieces of content together and put them into one thing that then people can actually enjoy. That'd be pretty cool. So I'll be working on that. And I'm gonna try to get the setup better. Like obviously I have a webcam here. It'd be cool if I had like a second one, like maybe like down there. And then I could be like, for emphasis, I could be like, and then, you know? But right now it's just on the iPhone right here. It's pretty cool. That's so cool, man. Apple is crazy with it. But if you've been watching, I appreciate it. The 2 views that I got that left immediately, that's fine. I'm not gonna take it personally. The 2 views, but that's okay. Everything's working. So yeah, so I'll figure out a better setup. I'll do this on a weekly basis now. I've decided I'm gonna do this every YouTube Wednesdays. And yeah, it's gonna be cool. We're gonna grow YouTube. YouTube's next, guys. YouTube's next. All right, bye. Bye.